in the remote highlands of Tanzania's Serengeti National Park. Far from the tourist trails and hidden beneath veils of whispering fog, there lived an old male lion named Babu. Once, he had been a legend across the savannah. His golden mane, thick as fire and wild with age, had crowned him the undisputed king of the plains. His roar, like thunder cracking through dry skies, had sent zebras scattering and rival males slinking into the shadows. But time, as it does to all living things, had pressed its heavy hand on Babu. His mane had thinned into wisps, gray curling into gold. His once muscular frame had grown wiry, and his gait carried the stiff ache of old injuries long since scarred over. Years ago, knowing the laws of nature would soon turn against him, Babu had done what few lions did. He left. He turned his back on the pride, the cubs that played at his feet, the lionesses who once looked to him for strength. He vanished into the misty cliffs of the mountain, seeking solitude rather than watching his legacy erode. In the heart of those lonely ranges, he found a hollowed cave by a waterfall's edge. It was humble, sheltered, and cold, but it was his. There, each morning, Babu stepped out into the pale light, the mountain winds brushing his face, carried with him the distant echoes of the life he once led. He hunted alone now, small prey, mostly, occasionally a hare, sometimes an injured gazelle that had strayed too far from the herd. Each meal was hard won, and the chase left him panting, his old wounds flaring with pain. Yet he never stopped. He was a lion, and lions don't give up. One gray afternoon, the sky bruised with gathering storm clouds, Babu caught the scent of something rare, deer, leaner and quicker than his usual prey. It would be no easy target. But the sharp tug of hunger overrode all caution. His legs moved with a burst of forgotten power, claws gripping rock, teeth bared. The deer bolted, slender legs flying across the ridge. Babu followed, ignoring the burn in his joints, the warning in his bones. His vision blurred, but the target was all he could see. Then, the deer veered toward the cliffs. It was a trap. A sheer drop loomed ahead, the kind that swallowed sound and light in its jaws. Babu tried to stop, but the momentum, the slick stone, the years of lost balance, it was too late. His paw slipped. The lion let out a raw, startled roar as his weight dragged him forward. He clawed desperately at the edge, stone crumbling beneath him. His body dangled. Half over the cliffside, 100 feet of empty air below. His hind legs scrambled for purchase, but the stone was slick with rain. 3 hours passed. 3 aching, trembling, agonizing hours. He roared and whimpered, alternating between pride and despair. His claws bled from trying to grip the rock. His muscles spasmed. Each breath hurt. The wind howled louder, as if trying to pull him into the abyss. For the first time in his long life, Babu felt small, forgotten by the savannah, left to die where no one would remember him. But fate has a strange way of showing mercy at the edge of despair. Kamau Mshana had been a wildlife ranger in Serengeti for nearly 2 decades. Born to a village on the park's border, he'd grown up listening to the lions roar at night. It was in his blood, this land, its beasts, its stories. That day, Kamau was driving along the gravel ridge road in his Jeep, heading back to the ranger station before the rain broke. His ears, trained to the symphony of the wild, caught something unusual, a low, pulsing moan carried on the wind. He stopped the car, killed the engine. Listen, another sound, guttural, labored, faint but unmistakable. Lion. He grabbed his binoculars and scanned the crags below. What he saw made his breath catch. There, halfway down a steep ravine wall, hung an old lion, claws wedged into a fragile ledge, body trembling with the effort of not falling. Kamau didn't hesitate. He grabbed his rope, gloves, and emergency satchel. Most rangers would have called for backup, protocol, safety, risk management. But Kamau knew better. That lion didn't have hours left. Its body was moments from surrender. And there was something else, something in the way the lion held on, refusing to fall, a kind of silent dignity. Kamau felt it like a pulse in his chest. He couldn't let this creature die alone. The descent was steep and dangerous. Loose rocks slid under his boots as he inched his way down. The wind buffeted him, trying to knock him back. But he reached the ledge, and there, just feet away, was Babu. The lion turned his head slowly, eyes cloudy but alive. Kamau crouched, breath steady, voice soft. "It's okay," he whispered in Swahili. "I see you. I'm here." Babu didn't snarl. He didn't bare his teeth. Instead, the tension in his massive shoulders softened, and a low rumble vibrated from his chest. Not a warning, but recognition. Kamau inched closer. "I will save you," he murmured. "But you must not harm me. Trust me." For a second, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the lion lowered his head. The rescue was nothing short of miraculous. Kamau tied the rope around a nearby rock outcrop, then reached for Babu's front paws. They were massive, twice the size of his own hands, thick with years of calluses and battle scars. He wrapped his arms around them and pulled. Nothing. He adjusted his footing, gritted his teeth, and pulled again. Babu kicked weakly with his hind legs, trying to help. Inch by inch, Kamau dragged the lion up, muscles screaming, breath burning in his lungs. His boot slipped once. He nearly went over, but he dug in, his mind emptied of everything but one thought. Do not let go. With a final, explosive heave, the lion tumbled over the edge and collapsed beside him, limbs splayed, chest heaving. Kamau fell back, chest pounding, arms shaking. He stared at the sky, felt the rain start to fall. Alive. Both of them. Alive. Minutes passed. Neither moved. Then Babu stirred. He rose slowly, shakily, like an elder rising from prayer. He looked at Kamau, and what happened next would etch itself into Kamau's soul forever. The lion stepped forward. Kamau flinched, but Babu didn't attack. Instead, he bowed, lowered his massive head until it touched the ground, paws folded under his chin. Kamau's eyes filled with tears. He had seen elephants mourn, baboons cradle their dead, but never had he seen a lion, once a king of kings, kneel before a man. Gently, Kamau stepped forward and placed his hand on the lion's mane. It was coarse, damp, warm. Babu closed his eyes, breathing slow. A moment passed between them, one of deep, wordless reverence. And then Babu did something even more shocking. He turned, slowly walked forward, then stopped, and looked back. Kamau followed. They walked, man and lion, side by side down the mountain trail. Kamau guided with gentle words, Babu trudging behind. The storm had passed. Golden light spilled over the cliffs. The land bathed in that ethereal hue that comes only after survival. When they reached the riverbank below, what Kamau called the shore, Babu halted. He sniffed the air. Then, with an almost ceremonial slowness, he roared. Not in warning, not in anger, in declaration. From the trees emerged something Kamau never expected. 3 younger lions. Thin, smaller, their coats patchy. 2 males, 1 female. They had been waiting. Kamau froze, hand reaching for the tranquilizer in his vest. But Babu stepped forward, brushing past him. He walked to the young lions and nuzzled each one gently, then turned back toward Kamau and did something no lion had ever done. He led them forward and made them sit, as though presenting them. The young lions, cubs no more, but not yet kings, lowered their heads to Kamau. Then Babu stepped back and roared again, softer now. Kamau realized the truth. These were his descendants, cubs who would follow their father into exile, or perhaps come later, searching for the legend they once heard stories about. And now, Babu was introducing them to Kamau, the man who had saved their patriarch. In a world where claws spoke louder than kindness, this was a ritual of unimaginable weight. Kamau didn't sleep that night. He sat by the fire in his ranger station, staring into flames. In the morning, he returned to the cliffs, but the lions were gone. Their tracks led deep into the forest. But carved in the earth, next to the cliff where Babu had nearly fallen, was a paw print, massive, unmistakable, and beside it, a second mark, a single human handprint, pressed there by Kamau. Side by side. Years passed. Story spread. Tourists whisper of pride that rarely appeared, led by a regal, scarred male with graying mane and a strange calmness. Rangers reported hearing soft roars from the cliffs, always followed by a respectful silence from other animals. Kamau never saw Babu again, but every so often he'd visit that cliff, sit, listen. One day, as he sat watching the sunset, he heard it, the soft, aged roar of a lion who had seen too much and survived it all. A goodbye, a thank you. He smiled and whispered back, "You're welcome, old friend."